First of all, thank you everybody for joining. I think we all know why we're here, and the excitement that we have is really around the new fraternity house. And it's March 1st, and we wanted to give everybody an opportunity to kind of hear some updates from the steering committee as to how the fundraising is going. And so with that, I would like to announce that we so far have 125 individuals who have made their commitments and pledges to the new fraternity house, and that starts all the way back to a donor from the Kappa Sigma Chi era. She donated in memory of her father, and you can see on the screen the various donors from the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. And we have donors all the way up to the 2010s. And so far, we've now hit the $2 million mark in pledges, which is a really significant amount for us. I don't know that a lot of us were sure we would see $2 million by any stretch. So to break that amount is phenomenal. And really just a huge appreciation to all the 125 folks that have committed so far. We know we have over 800 living alumni, so there's a lot more people out there that hopefully will step up and help us. And tonight we're going to walk through just kind of an update on where we're at and where we're going. So with that, I'm going to turn over to Lauren Chosick for a few minutes.
Hey guys, good evening, and thanks for taking your time to be with us tonight. We're extremely excited about this campaign, and as you guys all know, this has been something that's been going on for years and years and years, and it's something that's near and dear to my heart. So to hit that $2 million mark with 125 guys is just phenomenal. We know we have a long way to go, but this is a reality, and it is going to happen. That's the very, very exciting part of this whole thing is that after all the years and after all the time and energy and whatnot, it is going to happen. And again, I couldn't be more happy, more proud to be a TKE right now and to call you guys frauders. And as Todd said, a little progress update. As you guys know from getting the mailers and maybe some of the last calls, our architect is an organization out of Atlanta called Trainer HL, and Trainer is an organization that's been around for a long, long time. They merged with an individual by the name of Michael Hugg and one of his partners, and Michael is the guy that we've been working with very, very closely, and Todd more than anyone. But they have done one of the things that they really, really specialize in is Greek housing, and over the years they've done over 125 Greek houses, fraternity and sororities. And if you click on that link and go to Trainer, you'll be incredibly impressed with the type of work that they do. And for them to be working with us up here at NDSU, I think it's just phenomenal. And they're excited because they've never worked up here before. But you'll see by the quality of work and the renderings that you've already seen, I think we picked an incredible architect to work with. So with that being said, after we picked the architect, the next biggest thing was, of course, picking that general contractor. And we picked who we think is an incredible local general contractor in Olaf Anderson. And Olaf Anderson is a company that's been around Fargo for, since 1913. So, almost 110 years. And they've got an incredible reputation. We work with a gentleman by the name of Jed Krieg, and Jed Krieg is he's an owner, one of the owners of Olaf Anderson. So just an incredible individual. So the team together has already met several different times on the phone and Zoom meetings and whatnot. We had our first dual meeting this morning, actually, an hour and a half. Myself, Todd, and Ron Olson were on the call. And we talked a little bit afterwards about how impressed we were with how Olaf and Trainer are working together. So we just couldn't be happier with the two partners that we picked. So with that being said, we went with a design build concept with the general contractor. We're meeting with them every other week, and the architect. As you can see, the tear down right now is scheduled for this spring. Actually, I think we're going to turn the keys over to the general contractor right after the week after finals, which I think is April 22nd, April 23rd, somewhere in there. And we're looking for an April or a May, I should say, a May teardown. And then, if we can do it, we're going to be looking for construction to start as soon as June. And Olaf Anderson has assured us that, a 12-month construction project is something that they're very, very comfortable with. They work on projects much, much larger than this and have got an incredible hit rate for hitting targets on time and under budget. So we will have some time at the end to ask any questions about that. But again, thanks for being with us tonight. Those are some quick updates on my side, and look forward to answering any questions you guys might have.
Thanks, Lauren.
Wayne, are you on the call? Can you hear us?
I am on the call. Can you hear me?
Absolutely. Go ahead.
Hey, as Lauren said, we're really excited about this opportunity to build a new house here. And a big event we're planning is on May 14th. It'd be last chance to get together and walk through the house, take a look at it, maybe take a piece home. We'll see how that goes. And just get together and socialize and have some fun. The exact nature of the party really depends on the size of the group. It could be anything from a backyard barbecue to a hosted event at Herds and Horns next door. So please let us know if you're any thoughts about attending that, because the numbers would be really important to find out so we know which way we need to go and how much food we need to get, how much beer we need to get, if anyone still drinks beer. Anyway, mark May 14th down. It's going to be a lot of fun. Get a chance to revisit the house and revisit friends.
Great, thanks, Wayne. Yeah, looking forward to having a kind of a send off of the old property before the bulldozers start tearing it down. That's a pretty exciting event for us, and hopefully many of you will be able to attend and have a little fun and probably reminisce on some memories. And for those of you that haven't been around the house for a while, you can see why it's so important for us to get the new house going. So real excited for an opportunity there. And as Lauren said, with this end of spring semester and us being able to move forward on this project, a lot of things have come together in a short time. The last few months have been real busy, and Ron Olson here, I'm going to turn over to him, who's been one of the campaign co-chairs, and let him talk a little bit about some of our fundraising that we've been doing.
Hey, Todd, thank you. Number one, for everyone, you need to thank Todd and Lauren. They've been really the driving force behind this new house, and they've done a fabulous job. They have, selected a great architect. They've selected a great contractor, and we are moving at a pretty fast pace. I was surprised at today's meeting how fast the architect and all the subcontractors were on the telephone at the same time. So my guess is that the time frame that we're talking about is pretty likely. So obviously, as we all know, costs have gone up, unfortunately. And our original estimates were the 200 to 250 a square foot. Well, we're probably going to be closer to 300. So rather than where we were before, we now are estimating our total cost to be at 3.2, which is big jump, unfortunately, and maybe some of those costs are going to go down in the next 12 months, but that's what we're projecting right today. I know Steve Swantek, who's the chairman of the board of Gate City Bank, and he has given us an excellent deal on financing, and so we're in the process of working on that right today. We are looking at a 25-year amortization with a 3.25 interest for 10 years, and using a $1 million mortgage. The mortgage would be $48.60. And quite honestly, we are hoping that we can get more dollars than what that would be, and we'd like to be down to say $500,000 for a mortgage, which would be very achievable, I think, for the active chapter. So that's our goal. I actually had dinner last week with Steve Swantek, and he was asking how everything was going, and I said it's going great. So I think we're on track. And Todd, I'm pushing him to get all the numbers and everything so that we can lock in that 3.25 before the interest rates go up. So anyway, I'm gonna go to the next one there. Slide, Todd. Yeah, so as Todd said, we've had 125 frauders out of the 800 plus living frauders. We currently are 2 million. Congratulations, thank all of you for giving your pledge and your gifts, and that's great. But we have a ways to go, and what our goals are is by the time that we tear down the house, or at the point of tearing down the house, we have an additional 125,000. Now I'm hoping that we can have this tear down a big deal. I'd like to sell bricks and have the bricks come apart and sell a brick, and you can keep it as a memento or whatever. We're going to try to do as many things as possible to continue to raise dollars for that. And I think that that's one way we can do it. So hopefully that party is going to be a great party. Obviously, groundbreaking is another point. We'd like to see if we could have an additional 125,000 raised by the time we do groundbreaking through whatever wonderful things we might be able to come up with, or parties or whatever, hoping that we have 600 plus up people that we can hopefully entice to also give a gift and make a pledge. So we're hoping then by the time that we get to the grand opening that we've achieved that 500,000. So we're right at that 2.5. And maybe we can exceed that. I mean, this house, I think, is going to be such a strong statement on the campus that it's going to really make the TKE fraternity one of the top fraternities, I believe, on the campus. I'm very excited about that. So anyway, just as next slide, please, Tom. So, I mean, we really need your support. I mean, we need everyone. If you've got friends, that from the fraternity, give them a call, and tell them if they haven't heard about us, maybe not all of our emails are correct or our telephone numbers aren't correct. And if you know somebody or talk to people, I mean, this is a really big deal. This is a big deal for our fraternity on the campus of NDSU. This house will be hopefully there for 50 to 100 years, and it's a legacy to all of us who joined the fraternity back whenever. Obviously, I may be one of the older people on this call here, but I mean, I'm pretty excited about it, and I think everyone should be.
Hey, Ron,
yeah,
real quick, I just wanted to announce to everybody, in case they're not looking at the chat, that Frauder Jake Krieg just increased his pledge by $2,000. So thank you. Just wanted to let everybody know that you absolutely have this chance to do the same. If anybody wants to outbid him, we'll take any and all pledges tonight.
Lauren, in the honor of that, I did get a text message, and I won't say the name in case the person wants to remain anonymous, but I received a $5,000 commitment from one of the frauders on the phone as well via text. So
awesome.
We're up to 7,000 on the phone call so far.
Well, maybe can we just stay on the phone here until we maybe get up to 50,000? That would be a nice mark for tonight's call, wouldn't it?
Absolutely.
So anyway, I mean, if you haven't talked to your brothers that were friends of yours, and we need all the help we can get. I think, wouldn't it be great if we could raise $3 million and have very little mortgage for the frauders that are going to be our people that live there, undergraduates. I mean, what a great thing that would be. I mean, and that really should be what our goal is. And I think if we really work on it, I think we can achieve that. So anyway, here's the next slide. I mean, just to give you a little bit example, I mean, number one, if you gave a $5,000 pledge over 5 years, on a monthly basis, it's 83, quarterly is 250, semi-annual is 500, and annually is 1,000. So, I mean, we take credit cards. If you have stock that you wanted to pledge, would be great. We can, we have all kinds of ways to be able to help you make it affordable to someone. And it just would be wonderful for everyone to participate in making these goals happen. So, anyway, and any amount is a fair amount. Whatever you can afford would be fabulous. I mean, so don't be that the smaller amount doesn't mean anything. Every amount means a big deal for this whole campaign, and for you to be a part of it, I think would be great. So with that, I think we'll just open it up for questions, Todd.
Yeah, thanks, Ron. And you know, Ron, you're exactly right. I do want to call out too to everybody that you will get recognized no matter what your gift is. It's not like we're trying to make this about everybody that can donate $10,000. This is about our fraternity and our brotherhood coming together as a whole. And Ron hit it right. Whether doesn't matter how many zeros are after your donation, they all are going to help us move this forward. And we've obviously had some really great success with some very large lead donors, and we thank them. And now we really want to try and build it from the masses, right? We've got a great $2 million foundation to build upon. And I think if we can get, no reason we can't have another 125 donors step up and help contribute. So I really appreciate that. I do want to take a chance just to call on the active chapter president, Gabe Peterson. He's with us tonight. And Gabe had mentioned he'd like to say a few things about what the fraternity means to the active chapter and what the house could mean to the chapter. So Gabe?
Yeah, so to start out here, I just wanted to, on behalf of the chapter, I just really want to thank all you guys for coming out and that, and just to all those who donated or thinking about donating. It really does mean a lot to us that you guys have put your faith in us with this new house and keep it nice, because it really does mean a lot, that trust to us. It's something that we're not just taking lightly. It's not just, oh, new house, cool. It really does mean a lot to us. And this kind of on that, with this new house, yeah, it's cool and all that, but on top of that, it really does open a lot more doors for us, I feel. At the moment, we're probably one of the older fraternity houses on campus, and around the campus, even outside of Greek life, we do kind of get joked on a little bit about our house because it is kind of falling apart in some places. And I just feel like it sometimes hurts our recruitment and membership, because people see all these brand new houses coming up, and I just feel like having this new house can just help us in the recruitment aspect. And obviously I don't want new guys to come around just to have the new house. Obviously I want good guys, good men to come around to be part of the active chapter, but I do feel like it will help bring in some people that might not have otherwise would have maybe not thought of coming to hang out with the guys and get to know us a little bit. And just kind of something like on the house internally, like with all these new study rooms, because a bunch you may not have heard, but recently the house has been, the campus has changed the GPA requirement for all of Greek life to about 0.2 GPA raise, and all these new study rooms I just feel can help us more focus on just our academics, because as of right now, our library, it's kind of hard to study in there. But with these new like designated rooms where you can lock yourself in, but kind of be by yourself or in a group and study, I just see that kind of really does help with the whole studying aspect, because some guys don't like to go around campus and study in the library at school or around other places on campus. But yeah, on top of that, our chapter is we're doing pretty good right now. We had a really good fall class, if you didn't hear. And then our spring club, we have a couple guys this spring too. We have around about 30 guys right now, and it'll be a struggle without the house for a year, but I feel like with this new house, it can really help strengthen our chapter back to where it used to be back in the 90s and 2000s, where we were really doing strong. And yeah, we're all just really excited about this, and thank you guys all for your support.
Yeah, thank you so much, Gabe. For those of you that don't know, campus has been going through a lot of changes. Right now, there are two sorority houses actually being built. One, Kappa Delta, right next to the NDSU Alumni Foundation building, tore down and is rebuilding with, I believe, a goal of opening in the fall. And Tri Delta, which is a sorority that didn't exist when most of us were on campus, is currently building a new house over between Kappa Psi, the pharmacy fraternities, and then Theta Chi, right in that area on University. So two new Greek houses going up. AGD just opened, I think it was 2 or 3 years ago now, probably 3, I guess, was before pandemic. So, a lot of activity on the fraternity and sorority life, and numbers are up compared to where they were 5-10 years ago. So that's great to see. And, this is what our future holds. And you look at a house like this, it really does bring us back into a much more traditional Greek feel. You look at the bottom right there, and that's what you're going to walk into on your left-hand side on the main level. That's the Brothers Lounge, where there's, an opportunity to sit down. There's a game room connected to that. We'll have dining room, kitchen, all that on the first main level. You get upstairs, you're going to have a mix of bedrooms. It's all residential up there with a small lounge, mix of single rooms, double rooms, triple rooms, allowing brothers to reside together, having some balcony space to look out over the backyard. And then in our basement, as Gabe said, we're going to have a lot of study space. We're going to have the new meeting room. You can see an excerpt of what that might look like down there, laundry, et cetera. So really some great opportunities for us to really improve the house. As Ron alluded to, we do want to take on the opportunity to answer any questions. I'm also happy to announce that my phone kept going off, and I got another $5,000 commitment from a frauder on the phone tonight. So, so far this has been a $12,000 phone call, and I'm hoping that that's just the starting point, because I know there's others that are interested in this. So with that, I think we'll just open the floor to any questions that any of the brothers may have. You're able to unmute yourself, and hopefully we can do it relatively orderly. And if there's not a lot of questions, we did have breakout rooms that we created if people want to go back and do some socialization. I know we don't always get together, but let's see what folks have for questions.
Todd, I'll start it off with a question that frauder Matt Buchholz had about the large neon teak letters on the front of the house. I have a really hard time believing that we're going to, be putting, for as awesome as they are, that we're going to be utilizing those at the new house. So, Matt, if you want to start the bidding on those teak letters, you can do so right now in front of the whole group.
Hey, Lauren, that's a great idea. I think we will do a silent auction on some of the things that go on here. I think that'd be a great idea for a fundraiser.
Matt said $1,000. Matt, we're going to have to hold that open for Ron. What do you think? Hold that.
I think we have a silent auction, and we'll auction off some bricks and the sign and maybe some other things. I think it's a great fundraiser. Good idea.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, and actually, kind of funny story on that. On Friday, I got a text message from Todd Farmer, and some of you may know the name Todd Farmer. He's worked at Teak headquarters for a number of years, and he reached out because he had seen my post around us having this call, and he wanted to know how we were doing. And he explicitly asked what we were going to do with the teak letters. He said that's one of the things he remembers the most of coming to our chapter was the letters up there. And he said, I hope that somehow they go to a good home. So, Matt, I guess you and Thomas, when you painted them back in, I don't know how many years ago, you must have done a good job, because Farmer still recognizes that from when he came up. So kudos to you guys. I did see Brandon Neve asked a question regarding tax deductibility and what we're doing with that, Brandon. And there's a couple different options. We are allowing donations over the $25,000 mark through the Teak Foundation, and that's handled by headquarters. So they have a special fund for us for this project. And the reason we have to pick that number is because there's IRS regulations to donating to a 501c3, of course, and we as an individual chapter can't establish that. So a percentage of the house becomes what's considered tax deductible because it's the educational space. And that's one of the advantages we get by working with the architects we've chosen, because they have done this so many times. They're able to calculate out that percentage. And, let's just say it's 40% of the entire property cost. So then, $1.2 million, just using 3 million as a number, would become tax deductible. But that means it has to flow through a 501c3. The other area besides the $25,000 limit, we do have one other exception to that, and that is if a frauder has a matching gift from their employer, because those matching gifts always have to go to a 501c3. So, that's an opportunity. Some employers will match you dollar for dollar. So, you can reduce your pledge, but in essence still contribute at a higher amount because your employer is contributing. So I would encourage you to just drop me an email if you want to chat about this. I'm happy to do that. My email is just toddcanine@gmail.com. Not real original, no spaces or dots or anything. So I'm happy to connect with you and talk through that, Brandon, or anybody else that, is in a situation such as that. So.
Hey Todd, did I just see someone pledge 25,000?
No.
Well, Roger was answering the pledges over 25 were,
5,000, okay, yeah.
okay. You had me really excited there for a second, Ron. I thought we were really killing it tonight.
Roger, you sure
Not
you do
ponying
not
up
want to
like
raise
that.
that gift up to 25K, buddy?
No.
Oh, just teasing.
Well, you're gonna have to have a room for me there if I do.
Well, we'll talk about the rent that we'll charge you, Roger, versus the actives.
All right.
What other questions do folks have? Okay, great. Got Kyle Arnoldson through in another 2,500 as well. So thank you, Kyle.
Did you not have that one, Todd, from last week?
No, we hadn't yet. So
Awesome.
that one must be flowing its way through the mail. U.S. Postal Service isn't always the fastest anymore.
Thanks, Kyle. That's awesome.
Yeah, and Kyle's one of our newest grads to contribute, so really appreciate that. He'll be in the 2010s decade. So not seeing any more questions. Anybody give a minute here? It's almost 8:30, but I thought I'd give another minute and see if any other questions pop up, or if somebody wants to chime in on the phone, by all means, feel free.
Hey Todd, why don't you talk about some of our updates that we're talking about as far as Facebook and then maybe additional Zoom meetings?
Yeah, you absolutely. That's a good point. So, one of the things that we think is going to be really important is obviously keeping the alumni base aware of what we're doing. And for those of you that don't know, we have the NDSU TKEalumni.com website. That is our alumni association site. We've repurposed it just for this project. And I'm not going to claim that there's revolutionary information out there on a daily or weekly basis, but we do get information out there pretty regularly as far as updates. And what we are committing to as a steering committee is at least monthly updates. Some of those will be on the website, some will be over email, some will be over our Facebook group, and some will be Zoom calls like this where we feel it's important. We feel it's important for us to be kind of taking pictures as we go through this project. So, we'll commit to sending out some different pictures, obviously during the teardown. One of the frauders had suggested, I think Larry Ellingson, make sure we get some photos of the house before we tear it down. So we'll be putting out some type of content on a regular basis, at least monthly, if not more frequently. Obviously some of the months will feel like there's not a lot of visible progress as they work on some framing and some work like that, but we will definitely keep those updates coming. So if you aren't in the Facebook group, reach out to me. I'm happy to give you the link. If you're not a Facebook user, make sure we have your current email, because we do have email distributions. Hopefully that's how a lot of you heard about this. We sent out 2 reminders on email. One was, I believe, last week announcing this call, or maybe 2 weeks ago, and then one was this morning. And so those are great ways for you to stay caught up with us, but we do need to have your proper email address. So if for some reason you're not getting it, that probably means we have a bad email for you. So reach out. I realize we're not always the obvious ones when you move and stuff, but we would love to have your current contact info.
Hey, Todd, Roger here, or Rick, for those who don't know me by my actual name. If I'm wondering if we can do more Zoom calls like this, like one we could do after the teardown party, and could even embed a clip of some of the teardown and kind of use these as events that we can try to keep giving updates and getting people on, and to keep trying to drive the pledges up, almost like a fundraiser or a telethon, if you will. Because I think the group from the late 70s, early 80s, we did a lot of calling, and it was through a lot of groundwork and just reaching out and talking to people that we got pledges from a PIN number up to many thousands of dollars. And I think it's that face-to-face contact, as you called about, to re-engage people, because you get a few years removed from school, and I won't admit fully to mine, but I can tell you that when I was there, the current house was pretty darn new or newly remodeled. That it brings us all right back, and so that desire to give becomes stronger. And I think using this opportunity with this technology of Zoom, we can get people engaged and do it somewhat frequently through different hurdles through this project.
Yeah, that's exactly a great point. I mean, nowadays, a lot of us are used to using Zoom for work or school or what have you. So, I have this account. I'm happy to do this on a regular basis. And I think you're right, Roger. We'll probably end up even doing an event too when we do a groundbreaking, if you will, shovels in the ground type thing during the summer. So that would be awesome. Also, I did just get yet another message of another $5,000 commitment. So, we've seen some more uptick tonight. We're really doing great, guys. And I'm so excited about this. For those of you that don't know, I've been the chapter advisor for a number of years working with the guys. And we talked about this 15 years ago as a different board of advisors at that point in time. And then the 2008 recession hit, and to see us coming together as a large fraternity to get over $2 million already. And I know there's ways that we're going to keep this going. And I really think we can break that $2.5 million mark, which makes that mortgage very, very feasible. So
And Todd,
I just can't thank you guys enough.
Todd, I've got nothing going on the rest of the night. So if we want to just stick around all night and see how much we can get that pledge amount up all night. I mean, if people want to keep pledging, I think we can keep the Zoom going all night. So,
Hey, Todd, Larry Ellingson just suggested that you do a Zoom during the tear down, and then maybe we do a fundraiser at the same time. So
I like that idea.
Yes.
become a live
Yep.
tear down fundraiser. Sounds great.
Don't make that
Yep.
recordable though. We don't know what's going to happen.
some of the other things that
Yeah, we can.
some of the other things that Wayne had mentioned in one of our last calls, and Elevated had mentioned it as well, is if guys during the teardown party want to have an opportunity, this is just one suggestion, to maybe pick up a sledgehammer and potentially put a hole in the wall. That might be another. That might be $100. That might be a $500 opportunity. So just
Good
something
idea.
else that we're thinking about. That
Hey.
one, it'd be fun as heck to do it, and two, just another opportunity to raise a little money for the fund.
But yeah, there's a lot of guys in our time frame that, could have probably paid for quite a bit of the construction with the fines they got for putting holes in the wall. So it's a great idea.
Well, good news. I just got another text of another 1,000. So we continue to increase tonight. This is awesome. I am going to pause the recording, I think, because I think we've reached the end of questions. So that's good.